Hey everybody, welcome to the Bullseye channel. I hope you're doing well. Today we're going to be discussing my favorite revolver, the Colt Officers Model Match. And this revolver holds 6 rounds of 38 special, but there are only 3 rules for life. Let's go through them real quick for you for free. Don't be a jerk, take care of yourself, help other people. All right, so the Colt Officers Model Match. I'm going to go ahead and take these snap caps out and let's just talk. Hello. Let's talk a little bit about it. I have a decent amount of videos of me actually shooting this on the channel that you can check out. But let me tell you a little bit about how I got into it and why I think it's special and if I would recommend it to you. So the Colt Officers Model Match, I didn't know a single thing about, but it was probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 2017, maybe a little bit before that. And I was at Camp Perry or Canton, I can't remember. And I was talking to the great Colonel Greg Kitchens, former OIC of the Marine Corps Reserve shooting team, shooting team actually. And he said, now, you know, the Colt Officers Model Match is a dang fine revolver. But a lot of people don't like it because it's kind of ugly. And you can usually get one for a good price. Something to that effect. That's not a very good Greg Kitchens impression. But anyway, and something in my brain when he said that went, and I said, I'm going to check out this Colt Officers Model Match. And so I went ahead and I went on Gunbroker and I found myself a Colt Officers Model Match. And I started looking at them. And immediately I said, that's not an ugly revolver. It's actually quite beautiful. And I kept looking, didn't really find the right one. But then a local auction house, like a legitimate auction house, to me had a collector's variety of guns that they put up for sale. And I nabbed this bad boy, I'm not kidding you, out the door for like less than $500. And I don't think it had been fired that much. And so basically then I was sitting pretty. And I got this, and I had previously owned all sorts of revolvers. I'd owned, in the search for Distinguished Revolver, now Service Revolver. And we're talking, I probably owned a Dan Wesson, I owned a bunch of Smiths. I owned a Colt, like no kidding. I think I still have an old video on this channel from the last channel. Just really, really nice revolvers. But when it came down to it, this was the one that I really, really liked. And I will tell you why. So I'm not here to compare it to, Smith & Wesson. They're great, especially if you have a good Smith & Wesson 38 target gun, like you're good. You don't need to worry about it. I'm just saying that, like, I think that this should be in the in the running if you're searching for a target 38 special. So let's go. I'll review it real quick, and then we'll talk about some other stuff about it. All right, so at the front, the thing that really strikes me about this is that you have this sort of like tapered, heavy target barrel. To me, this almost looks like, and I'll see if I can get it nice and close. This almost looks like a little mini artillery piece from World War I, which would be fitting with around the time period that like something like this was developed. You can find these, and there's first issues and fifth issues, and I don't really know the difference. I know I like this sight setup and this rear sight. I've had no issues with them. The rear sight it's a little bit small, but it's not that big of a deal. That comes back into here. Obviously, you have the plunger, but then you have this nice little raised part right here, and this pretty usable, acceptable rear sight that has both elevation and windage. The only downside is that if you're doing the windage, it takes this little baby flathead, so you got to make sure you got something in there that's small enough to move it around. Coming back in, I'm going to flip it around. You've got the body of it. You got the Colt sort of emblem right there. Obviously, this comes down like a Colt. Listen to that. You don't hear anything. Just this nice little, right? Pretty clean for me. And then what I do is, in lieu of having someone number these cylinders, which what you do if you're trying to find the accuracy is, it's pretty time consuming, but you fire a benched group out of each cylinder, and then you mark the one that is the most accurate with the ammunition that you're going to be using, which for me is 38 special wad cutter, full wad cutter ammo. Right now I have a bunch of Federal red box still. That's like the greatest. And then I mark my least accurate. And so the least accurate chamber I never ever use. The most, which is there in green, you can kind of see I have a little bit of green paint. That I use for slow fire. And that is pretty much it. These, as you will see, go clockwise, not counterclockwise, as you cock them. All right. So when you're setting it up, you want to make sure that you leave the chamber on the right one. Now, I obviously have snap caps here, but if I was shooting slow fire, I would go ahead and load it in the green, and then the one, oh my goodness, directly to the left of green. All right, I always keep a snap cap in there if I'm shooting slow fire. This is my live round. I close on the one immediately to the right of my accurate chamber. So then I take my grip, got my nice good grip. I go ahead, I take an aim on the target, fire my slow fire shot, and immediately take a second shot, even in slow fire, on my snap cap. And that is to always train for rapid, right? We're always training for rapid fire. It's a good way to get follow through, good way to not waste a rep. All right, moving back, I have these grips. I think these are Nils. I think I found them on eBay, and I love them. I did add some grip tape around, and then just like a little hair tie of my wife's to keep the grip tape on there. And that's pretty much it. I love the nice, wide, grippy, checkered beaver tail. And this one has a trigger shoe, which I really like. Some people ask what this tape is. This tape is here from getting the trigger weighed at the armorers. So sometimes when you shoot bullseye matches, they want to make sure that your gun's in compliance. The biggest thing being the trigger weight, and they will measure it, and then they will put a little piece of tape to tell everybody that you're good. Other than that, this was what I used to get every single one of my service revolver points. And I have badge number 6. And shooting kind of soft target loads, 38 wad cutter, this thing is awesome. And I really, really like it. You can usually find these on GunBroker for not a whole lot of money. And I would say, there's something special. If you shoot double action, this is not a model I would recommend, or really any Colt. I don't think they're great double action revolvers. They sort of have that like increasing, sorry, I'm loading this while I'm talking to you. They have that increasing trigger weight that I find just kind of off-putting. I would probably go with a Smith & Wesson if you shoot double action, but I think these have great single action. And I'll point this way so you can see the trigger. See if I have some room here. We'll just do it like this. So go ahead and watch the trigger. So bring it back there. That is it. And yeah, there's not a whole lot that I can say about these. I think they're great. And I think you can find a pretty good one online for a decent price. And whether you're a Smith guy, Colt guy, Dan Wesson revolver, go ahead and pick up one of these things. If you own one, let me know what you think. Revolvers are kind of having a little bit of a moment on the internet, but revolvers have been having a moment for a long, long time because they're awesome. All right. Thank you guys so much for visiting. As always, 3 rules for life again, because I love them and I love you. Don't be a jerk. Take care of yourself. Help other people. Hold hard, shoot straight. Thanks.